Hello everybody and welcome back to another What I Eat in a Day as a Fat Person reaction video. Please put your guesses of what you think we're going to be seeing down in the comments below. I think we're going to see somebody who really emphasises the fact that they drink water on top of the 4,000 calories that they eat. So with that, let's get into it.
Here's everything I ate today as a fat girl who eats intuitively. I'm going to warn you now, if you're going to get triggered by a fat girl eating bread 3 times in a day, just scroll past, please. I don't want to hear it, okay? Breakfast was Marmite on toast, and for lunch I had a turkey and lettuce sandwich.
So this wasn't a very good start to her day. The Marmite on toast isn't the best breakfast. It's quite a common breakfast for people who like Marmite. For those of you who don't know Marmite, I think it's like fermented stuff. It's really horrible. I would not recommend it, but we tend to give it to foreigners as a joke because it is so awful and it really shocks people of how bad it is. It is very much a you love it or you hate it food. I hate it, and irrespective of that, it's going to be very carby, and so her breakfast is just carbs and carbs. And if you're eating something like that for breakfast, it's not going to set you up and you're going to be hungry quite quickly because there's nothing to it. So in order to improve, she could have one slice of toast instead of two. Have the Marmite by all means, and then add something on the side that makes it more filling. So you need some fibre, fats and proteins. So eggs are a really good source. As someone commented in one of the previous videos, eggs are more of a fat source than a protein source, but they do have protein in them. If you want protein from eggs, you're more likely to go for egg whites, which you can buy in cartons in the shop. And so for this breakfast in particular, you could have the Marmite on toast, then have some eggs and egg whites, or you could have some cottage cheese, you could have some fruit and veggies or something on the side. Tomatoes, she's in the UK I think, so beans, because we have them readily available and they're very cheap. So there are many options that you could have to add to that breakfast so you can still get the food that you enjoy but also make it more beneficial to you. And this is why I was saying in one of the previous videos that if you're obese and you've always been obese, you've been obese for a very long time, it is very difficult to then eat intuitively because your intuition is telling you to eat bad things. She said in her intro, if you don't want to see a fat person eating bread 3 times a day, well, if you're eating bread 3 times a day, chances are you're in some way addicted to it, and you can't eat intuitively if you have an addiction to food. It doesn't matter what that food is. If you have an addiction, you cannot then do something as and when your body tells you to do it because your body is telling you to eat it even though you don't need it. It's like the same with alcohol. An addict, somebody with alcoholism, they couldn't intuitively drink alcohol, could they? It's the same principle as the addiction with food. So again, improve your breakfasts and stuff by adding proteins and fats and fibre. You'll be more satiated. And then this lunch isn't actually too bad. What she could do would be to add more turkey to the sandwich. Keep your salad stuff in there because it's delicious. The bread looks like quite a nice bread as well. And she's got an apple, which is great. And then she's got these cheese things. I would get rid of those completely. And then I would just have the sandwich and the apple and be done with it. Or if she wanted something else on the side, she could have maybe like some quark or a kefir yogurt. We have kefir yogurts quite readily available here as well. Or even just a, not quark, what did I say? Kefir. Yes, so, or you could have a glass of kefir to drink. There are just many ways that you could improve this. Have 2 boiled eggs, put the eggs in the sandwich. That would be quite nice as well. So turkey and eggs, quite good. Yeah, just add things that are going to fuel you rather than more empty carbs that are just going to make you want to eat more carbs. So I wouldn't be surprised if she was very snacky this day, for example, because of the high carb intake in the bread. So let's see.
An apple and some of these little cheese bite things. And naturally, I had to pay the cheese bite tax and also the turkey slice tax. I went on a walk and afterwards I needed a bit of a protein hit and I decided to try this Fulfill protein bar.
So she's eating some kind of ultra processed bar. It's got chocolate and peanut butter in it, so it's more like a traditional chocolate bar. So that again I think is where the food addiction comes in, because that's what she's craving, that's what she wants. She doesn't want the protein, she wants the chocolate and the peanut butter. So And because she's been on a walk, she says she wants a protein hit after a walk. I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think she just wants food. She just wants a snack. She doesn't want a protein hit, because if she wanted a protein hit, she'd have some chicken, or she'd have some tuna with mayo and some cucumber or something. A snack I used to have quite often when I was in my peak gym days was I would have a tin of tuna, have 10 grams of mayo, and then grate in 2 boiled eggs, and that was my snack. And I loved it. I used to have that after the gym, and it was really good for me, and it fueled me, and I enjoyed it. So I wouldn't have these protein bars often at all. Only if I got caught out and I really needed to eat something and I didn't want anything else from like a store or something. But anyway, what she could do instead of having this is, if she'd have had a proper breakfast and a proper lunch, she probably wouldn't feel the need to have this. But instead, after her walk, if she does want a snack and she wants to have protein in it, she could have something like egg bites with some kind of meat or fish in them, ready in the fridge, so she can kind of like grab and go. Or she could have some diced chicken with, and make a little salad. So you could dice your chicken, add some a little bit of mayo or sriracha or something, or even like a vinaigrette, but weigh that out, and then have some sweet corn with some cucumber and carrots and lettuce, shred it all together, mix it up, and then you've got a big pot of chicken salad that you can then portion out and then just enjoy on its own. You don't need to add bread to it or crackers or anything like that. You can just have the protein sauce with the veggies on their own, and that's really tasty. So that's what I would do instead of having ultra processed bars, because this again is just going to make you want to have more snacky foods because you're still in that habit of eating snacky foods.
To be honest, I've never been wowed by a protein bar, but this one was actually disgusting. It just tasted like dust, and I absolutely cannot recommend it.
I'm not surprised. Protein bars are ultra processed, and generally they've only got the protein powder added into them, so you'd be better off buying protein powder and just having a protein shake if that is something that suits you. Veggie straws, complete and utter waste of calories, and they're just more carbs, empty carbs, absolutely nothing for you. She doesn't seem to be weighing it out, and this seems to be a sharing bag. I could be mistaken, but it does look like a sharing bag to me because it looks really big. If you're going to have stuff like this, weigh it out. Again, you can't eat intuitively if you're addicted to these sorts of foods. I, for example, have a really big problem with crisps. I cannot control myself around them. I cannot open a family bag of crisps and just eat a normal portion. I always go back to it. So it's just something that I don't have in the house because I know I can't control myself. So I don't have them. Just don't buy them, because then when you want them, they're just not readily available and you have to go out of your way to go and get them. And most people aren't going to go and do that.
I had some veggie straws and I was like, why are they so salty? And then I realized they've added sea salt as a flavoring. I think I preferred them before. I had a bit of leftover chicken katsu curry, and then for dinner I made a
This wasn't dinner, this was another snack. So again, with the intuitive eating, and you can't intuitively eat if you're obese because you're not listening to your hunger cues, this is not a snack, this is a small meal. So she, as I said, she is very, very heavy on these snacks. It's because her food isn't proper. So if she'd have had a proper breakfast and a proper, more filling lunch, i.e., more protein and more fibre, so just have a really big bowl of veggies as well, massive side salad with it, then she wouldn't have felt the need to have the protein bar. She wouldn't have felt the need to have the veggie straws, and she might not have felt the need to have this. But this in itself could be a really nice dinner. It looks really tasty, and it's got a nice carb in it. It's got the rice, it's got the beans, and it looks like carrots in there. So what she could do instead would be to have this as her dinner rather than making a burger and chips, and add a lot more veggies to it, so just to bulk it up. So you've actually got a really big portion of food, but not as many calories. And as I said, it looks tasty. This is what I would go for instead. But yeah, this is what happens when you just snack all day.
I think I preferred them before. I had a bit of leftover chicken katsu curry, and then for dinner I made a Beyond Meat burger, and I homemade some chips in the air fryer. They were supposed to be wedges, actually. They're somewhere in between. I don't know. Anyway, why did nobody tell me my hair looked like this?
The chips, I would guess it is a single potato that she's used. So potatoes aren't that bad, and she's made them in the air fryer, which is good. So I would like to know if she kind of spritzed them with oil. I know some people do that when they're cooking in the air fryer, which kind of defeats the point. But anyway, that is a really big burger bun, and she didn't have much inside it. The patty itself is quite small, and it's a veggie patty as well, so that's neither here nor there. But it is going to be obviously less protein than like a normal beef burger. There is some lettuce in there, which is good, but I would, if I was her, add some like tomato or something to it just to make it a bit more full. And instead of having chips, maybe have a side salad or some roasted veggies, which would be a lot nicer. But that is what I would do.
I look like this. I was walking around my house like this and no one told me what the hell. And then I had a clementine. Okay, bye.
It's good to have fruit as a snack, but again, that is another snack. She had 4 snacks this day in 3 meals, so she does appear to be a bit of a grazer. You know, there's people that just eat all day, and because she is a bit of a snacker and she eats quite a lot of snacks, I wouldn't be surprised if she is eating off of camera and just not showing us, just because she seems like the kind of person that would just walk into the kitchen, pick something up and eat it and not realise that they're doing it. But yeah, she started off the day quite badly with the Marmite on toast, and then it was more bread, and then again bread for dinner. So I think her obsession with bread is hindering her quite a lot, because bread doesn't do anything for you. One thing, if you do really love bread, and I quite like bread, is I like to bake it myself at home. And when you bake bread, you tend to get like, I want to say like a more German loaf, because they're a lot, when you bake it at home, it's a lot more dense and not heavy, but when you eat one slice, you're done. It's really, really good, and German bread is superior. If you ever have the opportunity to go to Germany, get some bread. It's so good. When I visited Germany, I was there for a few days, and the amount of times I went to bakeries and bought breads and rolls and stuff was crazy. But it was really, really good. So yeah, back to the point of, if you do like bread, bake it at home, and you won't feel the need to eat 6 or 7 slices a day. Her video is muted because of her music, and she said what I eat in a day is a fat girly, and she's starting off the morning with some bread at 8:04 a.m. And it just literally looks like a plain piece of bread, which is crazy. Bulldog and bread. What is it with bread? Bread, oh my god. So she's literally got instant ramen noodles with bread. So we've got empty carbs and nothingness with bread. Empty carbs. So she's going to be very hungry because she's eaten nothing of substance. And a pack of Bulldog noodles is something like 500 calories as well. So her breakfast, she's had the bread already, and now she's got 2 more pieces of bread, and she's got Bulldog noodles. It wouldn't surprise me if this breakfast, or the first thing in that she's eaten, is probably 800 calories. And it's not going to keep her full at all, because there's nothing to it. She hasn't added anything into the Bulldog from what we just saw. It just looked like plain noodles, which I personally wouldn't choose. I would add some veggies to it if I was going to eat instant ramen. And then we're having 12:06, we're having Doritos. So again, no real food yet. I wonder how many Doritos she had, if she had like a normal bag, or if she had a sharing bag and just ate out of that. More bread at 1:32. Again, this bread addiction. Just don't buy it. If it's not in your house, you won't eat it. And if you have a craving for something that is so powerful, like bread, and you are willing to get up, get dressed, go out, buy bread, and go home and eat it, then I think that is time to reevaluate how much you love whatever you're eating and decide whether it's good for you or not. If it's good for you, more power to you, continue to do it. But if it's just not harmful, but if it's just empty and literally is providing you with no nutrition at all, then reevaluate why you want it so much. Because just eating plain bread, she doesn't even put butter on it. 4:17 Cheeto Puffs. Again, more empty carbs. Still no food all day. Plantain chips, more ultra processed carbs, sugar. At 4:21 as well. Still no food. And 9:12 platanos and eggs. So we've got finally our first real meal. It's great to have eggs, and platanos seems fine as well. But don't save your one meal for the day at the end after you've eaten snacks and snacks and snacks and snacks. And based on how she was eating, I don't necessarily believe that between 4:21 and 9:12 she didn't eat anything. I think she was snacking in between because of the nature of her food and her diet and her other intake. It just isn't believable that she didn't eat anything else. So yeah, but I'm glad she's had some real food at some point in the day. It's just a shame that she was just eating ultra processed garbage for the first like 21 hours of it. But yeah, terrible diet. I'm not surprised she's a big girl. Everything she eats is garbage. Okay, so we've got this lady and she is muted as well because of her music and she wasn't saying anything. So her screen says, what I eat in a day is a fat person who is not on a diet. And this is a lady that likes to show us her medication, so let's see what she's doing. Tea with milk and sugar. It does look incredibly milky. A lot of people here like have milk kind of like that, have tea like this. It's very, very common. So as long as you're not having like 15 cups a day, you're fine. But I would like to know how much sugar she had. The breakfast itself, the avocado with the egg and chili flakes, looks delicious. It always does tickle me when they're like, I'm not on a diet, and then eat like stereotypical diet food. But it's great that she's having it because it does look really tasty, and I'm sure she'll enjoy it. Egg is cooked really nicely as well. Another tea with probably milk and sugar, so lots of sugar. From Clementine's while I edit my YouTube blog. Very nice. I didn't know she had a YouTube channel. I've only ever seen her on TikTok, so I wish her the best for her channels and her social media life. Clementines are a great fruit and they're so low in calories and they're so tasty as well. I'm on and off with clementines though because obviously we have to import them into the UK because we can't grow them here, it's too cold. And sometimes we get them and they are just perfect. They're so juicy and so sweet and they've got that really nice flavour. And then other times you get them and they're all like wrinkly and old and they don't taste of anything at all. It is really, really hit and miss and sometimes they're just not worth the money. We're better off with apples. We're really good at growing apples here. She said, I made the viral chopped salad for lunch. This looks delicious. Can't say anything about it. I don't know what's in it. I don't know what is viral or not. I don't live my life on TikTok. So it does look like it's some kind of meat here. I couldn't tell you what it is though. This salad looks great, as I said. The only thing I would say would be to make sure that there is a protein source in there, whether that's something like cottage cheese, which is a bit crazy to add to a salad, but it still works. Diced meats of some sort, even something like a ground beef that's you've cooked up, some tofu, tempeh or anything that you want to add. Just make sure it is like a protein source that will keep you full, because as much as the volume will keep you full because your stomach will be full, it can process quite quickly. So just be mindful of that. Do add protein, your body needs it. Diet Coke, chemicals, PSL. I don't know what PSL means. While I waited for my car to be serviced, so she's got some kind of Starbucks drink, pumpkin spice latte. That's what that is. That's probably 50 grams of sugar, which is not ideal. Let's actually have a look, see if I can find it. So I found this on the Starbucks website. As you can see, it's Starbucks and she's got a pumpkin spice latte. I don't know what size she had, obviously, and this is the UK site, so I don't know. This is a grande, 16 fluid ounces. This actually might be the American site because we don't work in ounces. But anyway, the grande one is 390 calories, 14 grams of fat, 230 milligrams of sodium, 52 grams of carbohydrates, and 50 grams of sugar. That is wild. 50 grams of sugar in a drink. That's approximately all of your sugar intake for the day. That's insane. And this is exactly why I don't drink them anymore. Because when I was in my peak gym days, as I've mentioned before, I used to really enjoy pumpkin spice lattes from Starbucks. And then I learned they had 50 grams of sugar in them, and I never had one ever again. And that was probably 8 years ago, and yeah, it's unfortunate, but I'm not drinking 50 grams of sugar. Pasta, broccoli, sausages for dinner. This is a very measly portion of broccoli. Why there's just kind of like a cursory kind of, oh, I had broccoli. Why not have that much of pasta and this much broccoli? That's what I would do personally. And the pasta looks a bit boring as well. It does seem to have some kind of like parmesan or something on it, but it just looks like a really sad dinner. Sausages look nice though, as sausages go. So what she could do, instead of having it in these ratios, she could have a lot more veggies. So have the sausages. You could even have this much pasta, but probably triple the amount of veggies that you've got, probably even more. And you could add different veggies as well to make it more tasty and have some variety in there, and you will be more full. So it's always unfortunate when people try to show that they eat super healthy, because clearly that is what she's doing. She's showing a healthy day. She had the avocado on toast with the egg, then she had clementines, then she had a really trash sugary drink, but that's neither here nor there. And then she's had this meal. So she is very clearly trying to show a healthy day, even though she's not interested in weight loss. So yeah, just eat more veggies, even if it is just for show. A very dainty bite. A vitamin C drink because Theo's nose started running. Okay. You are much better off with vitamins and stuff, taking them consistently. If you are already starting to get poorly, taking vitamin C is not going to help you, unfortunately. We all wish we could avoid illness like that, but unfortunately we can't. The way that the body works is that it needs to kind of build up. So if you know that you every single year you get poorly in November because it's winter and it's cold and everybody gets sick in the winter, then you need to start taking vitamin C beforehand, at least probably 3 months, I would say, as it gets. I'm not a healthcare professional, don't take my word as gospel, but you do need to have it in your system more than just the day before that you think you're going to get poorly. And if her child is ill, chances are she's going to be ill as well. She's in the same house with her baby, so yeah. And also get your vitamin C from citrus fruits. So much better for you than taking a vitamin. And if you do think you need vitamins, go to your doctor and ask for a panel, and so they can tell you, okay, you need X, Y, and Z. There are certain things where everybody needs it. For example, in the UK, we are all recommended to take vitamin D because it is so cold and dreary and dark in our country most of the year that we don't get enough sunlight to make enough vitamin D for us. So the vast majority of adults in the UK are vitamin D deficient. So if it's something like that, it's a little bit different. But in general, if you're worried about B12 or B vitamins in general, or vitamin A or whatever, go to your doctor and ask them. Watched the finale of Game of Thrones. Okay. Some chips. How many chips did you weigh it out? I doubt it. And it's a family serving as well. Very easy to overeat. So she very clearly did try and show a really super healthy day, and then she did downfall with the sugary drink and the chips at the end. But she says she's not on a diet, but every single thing that she ate, minus the chips and the Starbucks drink, was basically like health food. So she wouldn't be as big as she is. And I don't mean this in a really mean, horrible, nasty way at all. Like, I think she's a really pretty girl. Like, she's a really pretty woman. More power to her and whatever. She can do what she wants. But she wouldn't be as big as she is if she was eating like this, because it's not enough calories to sustain that weight, even with the 300 calorie drink in the middle of the day. Because this isn't going to be that many. This is basically zero. The salad's going to be very, very low as well, because it's salads, depending on what kind of vinaigrette or whatever she used. Then she had the drink, and then this. So she's not eating enough calories to warrant her weight. So she must be either snacking off camera, or this was just an incredibly good day that she just chose to film. And it's really unfortunate when they do that, because they kind of, I want to say lying to their audience, but I'm going to say they're misleading their audience. But also not really. But it's the people that can recognize it and say, like, we know this isn't true because it's not like physiologically possible that you're eating like this and gaining that weight. But it's the people that believe it, and then they wonder why when they eat stuff that they're not getting this, like, the same results, or they're getting different results, and they just don't understand. It's more to the point of people that are faking weight loss journeys that do that and lie. They're a problem, and they shouldn't be allowed to do that. But I know YouTube is cracking down a lot on stuff like this, so we'll just see where the platform goes with that sort of thing. But that's a completely different tangent. But anyway, we're on our final video of this video, and we've got this young lady. I don't think we have seen her before, so I'm quite curious.
This is what I eat in a day as an overweight autistic female American with blue eyes and no makeup, and I am 5 feet and 6 inches.
So she's pretty tall.
Starting off the day, we got some dark red kidney beans. I don't know the difference between light and red, but I washed them and added Italian dressing and...
That was a lot of Italian dressing. That was quite a lot, actually, of Italian dressing.
The difference between light and red, but I washed them and added Italian...
Yeah, she shouldn't free pour sauces like that. That's silly. You have to weigh out things, and you can see it's literally swimming in sauce. That's nuts.
Dressing and some cheese. This is one of my favorite breakfasts, and I think it's very yummy and healthy.
It's healthy to a point, but the beans are great because they're fibre, but you've got to be really careful with doing stuff like this, because if you're not used to it, this can give you really bad indigestion, give you really bad gas, and you'll get stomach cramps, and it will not be very fun. I've done it before, been there, done that, don't want to do it again. The cramps from when you've eaten too much fibre and you're not used to it is just not... It's just not an experience that you need to have. It's kind of like breaking a bone. It's not an experience that you need to have in life. The cheese is okay. She didn't have masses of cheese, but she does need to weigh these things out, especially that dressing, because it was so much. It's definitely not a meal I would have. I don't even know if she warmed up the beans. I would hope that she did. But, yeah, definitely not something I would eat. But it's not actually that bad, but she does need to weigh this stuff out.
And then I had a Chobani yogurt drink.
That's not that bad either, to be fair.
And then a few hours later, I'm like, I want a real smoothie. So I'm making my real smoothie with some yogurt. This is the yogurt I used. Adding some juice. Some frozen blueberries. More frozen blueberries. Some frozen raspberries. And look how thick and beautiful that is.
That is very thick and beautiful. The one thing that, just as personal preference, that I would do, instead of adding juice, I'd have added water, just for the nature of the smoothie. I think it's just what I would do personally. But overall, it's actually quite nice. It looks really tasty. It's going to be quite high in calories just because of the yogurt, I would guess. I could be wrong, I don't know, the Chobani yogurts. But if she is portioning it out, and it does look like she is because she's putting it in a glass rather than having the entire blender full, then that's fine. Absolutely nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But she isn't eating much food. So she had the beans for breakfast, then she had a yogurt drink, and then she's having a smoothie. So there's no food. So I'm surprised that she's not hungry.
So I'm filling up my cup. I put the rest of it in the freezer. And I drank my whole smoothie. Then later in the day, I wanted a haichu, so this is a banana-flavored haichu. Then for dinner, I had 4 gluten-free chicken strips with some duck sauce, and this was very yummy.
It is a very sad dinner to just have the chicken strips and the sauce. Where is the veggies? Where's the colour? It's just beige. Beige chicken strips and beige sauce.
And I ate the whole thing.
Yeah, there's no way. She is nowhere near as big as some of the other girls that we've seen. But she is still a pretty big girl. She's 5'7", so she's pretty tall. And she's eaten barely anything in this day. So she had the beans, which is 120 calories, I would assume, for half a tin. So it's about 240 calories for the beans.
Some dark red.
Then she got the calories from all of this sauce that she used, because that was nuts. And then she had the cheese. It's probably, I don't know, let's say 450 calories. Then she had the yogurt, and then the smoothie, and then the chicken strips and the sweet. Yeah, no, I don't believe that's all she ate this day at all. I don't believe that. If it is, then I'm surprised that she's not starving, because I would be. I would be very hungry if that's all I ate in a day. What she should do, in my opinion, would be to add some more food that she can physically eat so her stomach is full, rather than drinking all of her food. And adding some more colour, because a lot of it is quite, like, very samey in colour. So she's got a lot of beige at the end. Obviously the smoothie is a little bit different. But then in the morning she just had beans. It's a very, very boring diet. And as I said, I don't believe that's all she ate. But that's her business. As I said, she's not as big as the other girl, so she's not going to be eating as much. But yeah, it's a shame. It is a shame to see their diets. Some of them are more terrible than others, but none of them are good. But anyway, that is enough of me talking for today. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have made it this far, please let me know down in the comments what you thought, if you liked it, if you didn't like it, and if you have any suggestions for me. So again, thank you for watching if you made it this far, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye guys!